So hello there, running ears, and this is Manny. And before I gotta start remembering to do this, please subscribe to the channel. Please invite your friends. Please like the video. Leave comments down below. This is your channel, and I want it to grow. I want it to grow for all of us, so that I can help you guys as much as I can. So if you watched, now I'm gonna move on to the video. So you watched video part one. Is what kind of runner are you? And so I'm gonna release this the day after. So you're already gonna know what kind of runner are you. Are you gonna be one of those beginner, intermediate, beginner, advanced? Now again, if you're intermediate, or especially if you're advanced, this is probably too basic for you. But if you want to continue listening, please do. So without further ado, we're gonna get into it. So one of the biggest things that I think can help a runner, especially a beginner, is a journal. So I have my running journal, and so I'm gonna go into that right now so you guys can see what exactly I do with the running journal. So let's take a look at what we got here. We're gonna turn this around a little bit. All right, try to keep this straight. All righty, so we have the magical running miles that's on top. What you notice is I put a date and a time, so that way you can more or less tell what you've been doing, when you started, what time you started. This can be important because later on you can say, well, when I run in the afternoon, I'm slower. When I run in the morning, I'm faster, so forth, so on. Distance is self-explanatory, so this is approximately 4 miles. My GPS is broken right now, so I'm doing that. So you have your time. So this was 51 minutes and 12 seconds. Again, since my GPS broken, I don't have it, so I have to calculate it. The pace. The temperature and the conditions. Okay, the temperature and the conditions is to me very, very important because again, you could be training in this hot weather, then all of a sudden be running in cold weather, or you can be the opposite, and that's what's going to happen, especially for the January runs. And over here are the notes. The notes to me are very, very important. So I'm about to put on here that actually this was my run was 2 days ago, and actually I did my run and I felt very good at the end. And actually, I felt fine after 2 days. I had no soreness, no functional soreness. So I'm okay. So that actually proves to me that, yes, I can probably pick up this to 5 or 6 miles and be okay. Now, one thing that I seem to I left out, but I am going to fix is this. And I'm going to do this right now so you guys can see. I'm going to number that. If you see that, that's a number 1. A number 1 is going to be a easy run. It's going to be below your goal pace. So if your goal pace is 10-minute miles and I went 12-minute miles, that's a 1. Any kind of stuff that's at pace, that's going to be closer to the, let's say you're a 10, so 10.5 to 9.5, roughly around there. That's a 2. And a number 3 is when you're doing speed work, okay? So what this journal should have a lot more of is 1s and 2s. You should probably every 5th, 6th, 7th run should be a 3. So you should only have, for every 10 runs, you should only have at the maximum about 2 number 3s. So the goal, this is even with advanced runners. Usually advanced runners will only run, they run about 80% of their runs are at their goal pace or below, so or higher, I'm sorry. So in other words, my goal pace is at 10-minute mile, then 80% of my runs are at 10 minutes or above. So 10, 11, 12, even recovery runs. So just put a 1, 2, or 3. I put a 1 because I was pretty slow there. Now, as you can see, it kind of gives me a little bit of insight. So me as a certified running coach, I can actually ask the questions. I can see stuff there, and so I could help out. For example, like this is a good example. So we got about 3 months to go before the half marathon at Walt Disney World for the Wine and Dine. So let's say 3 weeks from now you get injured or something happens, and for 2 weeks you cannot work out, you cannot run. So all of a sudden, you're going to have to pick up where you left off, or something's going to happen. As a running coach, I can actually look and say at the notes and say, all right, so you seem to be pretty comfortable here. It looks like you can continue on. Man, you were really struggling here. I would suggest maybe starting back up at where you left off. and not going advanced, not skipping those 2 weeks. If you guys can see what I mean in those in that scenario. So, but please, I'm here, so ask questions. That connect on Facebook. That'd be a great one. So ask the questions there, and I can help you out as much as I can. Now, there is a third part to this. So we went over what kind of runner are you, the journal. This leads to something else. Okay, so the journal to me leads to the final exam. What is the final exam? Easy. That is going to be whatever you signed up for. Did you sign up for the 5K, the 10K, the half marathon, the challenge, or the challenge and the 5K? So when you do that, that is your final exam. So anybody who went to school, I'm going to guess most of you, if not all of you, went to school. I know I had to for a while. My parents made me. But what's it called? So you had a final exam. So everything you did prepared you for that final exam. So this is the same way. Look at it the same way. You are doing the work throughout this period so that you can get to the final exam. So if you work at the final exam is in this scenario first week of November, you work backwards all the way to now. And so that's where the base is going to be very important. So let's take a look at what I mean let's actually write out some calendars and we'll see what I mean right here. So now we're going to go to our running calendar. So this is the final exam. And for this scenario, I ran out of room, but I'm going to basically say this would be the 17th of October. And I'm going to say that this is going to be the final exam. So I'm working backwards. And as you can see, my base is basically 4 miles. So the base is miles that I can get comfortably without being sore for about 2 days. And actually, my base is probably a little bit more than this. So I'm going to work my way backwards. So as I come up, so this is my final exam. And this is where I'm going to hit 13 miles. This week for sure is going to be a slow run. So this is going to be closer to base, so about 5 or 6 miles. And then this is where I do probably my longest run, okay? So 12, 11, 10, maybe even 13. 10 to 13, depending, 13, 14, depending on what kind of runner you are. And then you go back that way and you lead up to this. There is one other avenue you have to think about. So it's the progression. So for this weekend, I'm going to do 6. So I'm going to already put it down here. 6 is going to be right there. And then I'm going to go to 7 right there. Okay. Then I'm probably, because I'm going to do 3 to 4 weeks of pretty hard running, I'm going to go back to base. So I'm going to go back to 4. So the rule is after 3 or 4 weeks of running hard, you take a week where you just kind of go back to base. And so these runs, you're going to have a speed work somewhere in here, a speed job, a distance run. So those are going to be your higher intensity runs. But besides that, they're all going to be basically recovery runs, or they're going to be at your regular pace. And then once I come back over here, I can go back to like 8 or 9. So let's say 8 for that one, and then 9 over here. So I'm going to be ahead of the game. Now, I'm also training for the marathon in January, so this is going to work for me a little bit better. So we went a little bit over injuries, and so I'll actually do a whole video on injuries coming up soon. But barring injuries, you can basically make your own little training program. You can follow somebody else's, but then kind of adapt to yours. Or I like to do this, especially if you're a beginner runner, intermediate runner, do this. And if you do run into any kind of problems, go to a certified running coach, a certified running coach. If, it is, and make sure that they have experience doing what you're doing. So if you're going to run a challenge, make sure they have experience running challenges. Besides that, that's basically it. If you have any questions, and one of these days I'm going to fill this out and then show it to you guys. And actually, I'm going to do that in a video where I'm going to show how I'm going to basically conquer the next 2 challenges. So guys, if you have any questions whatsoever, please, 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 this is your channel. Please ask questions, invite your friends. Let's make this channel grow. With that said, I'm going to say goodbye for now. We'll be coming out with another video next week. I'm not sure what we're going to talk about. If you have any kind of topic you want me to cover, put it in the suggestions below. If not, we'll see you next week. Create a great run and see you sooner than later.